Hey, Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutation as always to the elect and all the brothers pushing this work in sincerity and in truth. This is the brother of mine from GMS Toronto coming at you with another video. Um, the statement I'm going to make right now, and as you can see, with all the things going on with our nation, right, the nation of Israel, all the things that 2/3 is popping off right now, right, with through their music. You're pushing degeneracy, you're pushing adultery, you're pushing debauchery, right? You're pushing all manner of wickedness. And I'm here to tell you that the reason why the Lord always tell the nation of Israel to put these things away from you uh, is because they're contagious, right? Lewdness is contagious. Um, Adultery is contagious. Thievery is contagious. Covetousness is contagious. Being an idolater is contagious, right? Anything that's to do with black culture is contagious, and it's on the left side of the spectrum, right? Uh, there's always a reason why the Lord have judgment be done in front of a number of people, or in front of or in a community, or in the sight of many witnesses, because it snuff out wickedness, man, right? It's like a virus. Viruses are contagious. You have to contain it. So that's how the Lord contains wickedness with the judgment. That's why some judgment of a certain punishment is so swift, right? It's for you to know that you shouldn't do these things, you know? So what you see in 2/3 are doing right now, that's contagious, and it's not just contagious to the Israelites, right? It's contagious to the other nations around, because all the nations around, they follow the Israelites, whether they want to admit that or not, right? We're over here in Toronto, so we see all manner of cultures, right? When you look at all these girls, I'm starting with the girls because that's what the main thing that's being pushed is that gangsterism, right? Which is a fake gangsterism. These dudes are not gangsters, or whoredom, right? Now you're seeing East Indian women that are, that are like pretty much 304s now, right? You're seeing Asian women who were so dainty in the past, and guess who they're acting like? The nigga woman, right? The dragon of Game of Thrones herself, right? So what I'm saying is, wickedness is contagious, just like how righteousness is contagious. But wickedness is being pushed on an all-time high right now, right? So everyone is being affected by it. Families are being affected by it, right? And that's the main thing that they push these degeneracy and death culture, is due to the fact that they want to destroy families, right? The elites want to destroy families. When you see men are being pushed as being gangsters, that destroys families. Damn. Crazy traffic here. First time being held up right here. But anyways, right, that destroys families. It destroys gangsterism destroys men, young men, right? The progenitors. And whoredom, or the 304 culture, the degeneracy, unlawful sex, that also destroys the mothers, the young mothers, right? And all this is being passed on to the new generation, right? You're seeing the Glorillaz. Before the Glorillaz, Glorillaz and your Sexy Reds, what did you have before them? You have the Lil Kim, right? When it comes to hip hop, but you can go all the way back to the 1920s and 30s. The jazz musicians were the same thing. They were pushing the same thing, right? And now you have the hip hop people from Lil Kim the Foxy Brown, right? And now you have your Nicki Minaj, and after her, what came after her? It was a slew of Cardi B's, right? She was very vocal in telling women she don't cook and she don't clean. But let me tell you how I got this ring, right? Um, and then when you come to find out, she does all these things that she says she doesn't do. So who are they really trying to affect? They're trying to affect your daughters, right? And this thing is very contagious. Like I said, it's not just affecting 2/3. It's also affecting these other nations because the people that's supposed to be ruling, which is your Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're pushing the opposite of righteousness, right? Just like how when we're pushing righteousness in the kingdom of heaven, it's going to be contagious, and all these nations are going to be trying to be as righteous as they can. But now you're seeing the people who are supposed to be the stewards of the earth, they're pushing wickedness. So that has an effect on every creature that the Lord has made in the garden right now, right? It has an effect, a negative effect on them, right? You're seeing unlawfulness to parents, right? I made a video yesterday about this woman talking about her two sons that she cannot control, right? They're 14 and 16 years old, right? And I made a video about the law where it says that if your son is a rebellious and a glutton and a drunk, and he wouldn't listen to his parents, and he's being disrespectful, that there's a law on that in Deuteronomy 21, right? There's a law on that and how to deal with a stubborn and rebellious son. But you cannot implement that law here, so therefore the law is slack, right? And therefore your sons and daughters are turning into degenerates because there are no laws to prevent them from doing anything wicked. It's a free for all, right? You can do whatever you want to do as thou wilt, and this is the penalty that you see, right? The wages of sin, man. That's why you see a lot of these young children getting put out of their miseries, taken back to the spirit world. Is the fact that they're so disrespectful, and the law is supposed to be implemented right away, but we can't. So the Lord just give them room to hang themselves with, literally, right? And then when you see them on the floor laid out, you don't even wonder why. But we know why, but they don't know why. Their parents might not know why, but their parents might have an inkling, but they just don't want to say it. Oh, my son was rude. That's why he got taken out with being disrespectful, because the Lord tells you, honor thy father and thy mother, and thy days shall be long upon the land. Our people are not, our children are not honoring that commandment. That commandment was given directly to us, right? It says there shall not be a sodomite or a whore amongst the children of Israel, right? Are we honoring that? No, that's what our people are right now. Pans, their buys, right? They're all manner of wickedness, man. They're all manner of things on the spectrum. So that thing is contagious. I don't care what anyone says. Just like a virus is contagious, wickedness is likened unto a virus, and it's contagious if it's not contained properly. And how do you contain wickedness? The laws, right? The laws that the Lord gave us. We might not be perfect at it, but guess what? We're trying to the best of our ability, right? 2/3 is not doing that though. 2/3 is trying to be as wicked as they can, right? And they're pushing that, and who's helping them pushing this garbage is the 1948ers, right? That's who owns this record company, and that's who own. They're the A&Rs and all these things, and they have Jacob in there, just shucking and jiving, man, right? So you see the wickedness. The Lord always tell us, the judgment should be swift on certain things because it puts away wickedness from amongst the people, right? From amongst the Israelites. But guess what? You don't want to do none of these things that the Lord said to do. You don't want to act accordingly. You don't want to abide by His laws, statutes, and commandments. You don't want to do anything when it comes to the ways of the Lord, right? At least signal, bro. So that's how you have a nation of wicked niggas, man. Right? The same thing happened in the time of Seth and his descendants, the Adamites, right? The Seth's descendants, the Sethites back then. We're seeing the same thing right before the flood. So we're the ones who's being the Noahs of this time, right? We're the ones who's warning them, and they don't want to hear us. They don't want to hear when we tell them to put away their wicked ways, because it's not. It feels good to do wicked, right? It appeases the flesh, and our people are all carnal right now. You know, they have zero inkling of being spiritual when it comes to Yahweh Shemel Shai, right? They're spiritual when it comes to wickedness. They're spiritual when it comes to other religions, but when it comes to serving the Lord in His totality, right? In the way that He told us to serve Him, they can't do that because guess what? They're already drunk in the Babylonian juice. They're drunk off the wine of Babylon, right? And now the wickedness is seeped in, and they can't do anything about it. They're so far gone that when you tell them, oh, a simple thing to stop doing it, they'll look at you like you're hating on them. And you know the word hate has been used in a way that if you the word has been turned upside down, to be honest with you. The Lord said, and this is the definition of hate, right? This is what the Lord said in the scriptures, right? Woe to them that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter, right? That's what hate is, because when you rebuke someone in this world, they tell you that you're hating on them by telling a person not to do this or not to do that, or this is how you do it. They're saying that you're hating on them, but when you look up the definition of hate, that has nothing to do with hate. Okay, it has everything to do with you being rebuked for your wickedness, man. Right? So this is another reason why this wickedness is contagious, because no one cannot be rebuked. You try to rebuke someone, especially someone who's younger than you, even someone your own age, man. These niggas they're just old. That's it. They're not elders. They're just old niggas, man. Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? You try to rebuke these guys, telling, like, you have grown men telling you, oh, it's okay to sleep with a woman that's married, as long as you have a woman too. You know, like dumb shit like that, right? And this will be an old ass nigga that's telling you this, man. Like, oh, it's okay to do shit like that, right? So what's the purpose of you being here? If you're 50 something and you're still saying dumb shit like this, it's okay to sleep with a woman that's married, as long as you're married, makes it even. You know what I'm saying? That's the mind of a nigga for you. That's wickedness, right? And it needs to be stomped out. It needs to be crossed out. That's why the Lord needs to come back and rewarding you, telling you to stop your foolish ways and put away wickedness from amongst our people, man. But it's only the remnant that's gonna repent and come back to the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai. Okay, only the remnant. 2/3 have got to go, because they've made their covenant with death. They've made their covenant with Esau, man. Like before this, I'm not saying Jake wasn't doing these things, because we have records of the scriptures of how wicked Jake really was back in the ancient world. But in this time, I'm talking about this time, Jake wasn't like that at all. Right, Jake had a little bit of moral, right? His moral compass was a little bit more inclined on the honorable side, right? But now he's dishonorable, man. He's become a degenerate plant, like the scriptures mention, right? Um, you're seeing it daily, man. Right? You know, don't even marvel when you see these young women too getting put in the dirt via vehicular homicide, via straight bullets, via gang wars, because they do all these things that you see these men are talking about too. Don't just think it's men. It's only men that's being, an adulterer. These women are being adulterers too, because they always talk about some side dude that they have, that's adultery, right? They think that they can do the same thing that men are doing, and that makes you pompous, and that makes you proud, right? So your penalty's a little bit harsher, because to be honest with you, yes, men die all the time, but when women die, when women get put out, they get put out in the worst way sometimes, because the scripture says the wickedness of a woman is above all wickedness, man, right? So you're seeing these women being put on a pedestal, and the wickedness of a woman you're seeing being pushed, right? When men say certain things, it's not looked upon as, it is wicked when certain men say certain things, but when a woman said it, man, or when a woman says it, it's a little bit, it's, you make you scratch your head a little bit, you know. When men were saying, via these songs, and I always come back to the song because that's what our people listen to vibe more with songs, right? That's why we have a whole book of Psalms. Those book of Psalms are gonna come back handy, okay? They're gonna come in handy in the kingdom because we're gonna need these songs, man. We're not gonna be singing no damn rap songs, rapping about foolishness, right? Like I said, when men were talking about, all this gangster shit and all this, you know, sleeping here, sleeping there, back in the 70s, when via these doo-wop songs and these other genres of soul music, it wasn't as bad. But when women start doing it, like you have Lucille Bogan, right? You should hear her. She I think she was in the 1920s, right? She had a couple of songs called "Shave 'Em Dry" and all that stuff, right? She made Lil Kim blush, man. Right? When you hear her talking about these things, then you're like, what the hell is going on? Just like how when you hear Lil Kim and Foxy Brown and the Gorillas and all these weirdos talk about how much dude that they slept with, and they can extort men for money. When you hear a pimp talk about these things, it's like, right? But when you hear a woman talk about these, how many dudes she has and she has a side dude and all that stuff, it sounds wicked, man. And that's what it is. It's just wickedness. So these things are it's being pretty much pushed on our people. And guess who's pushing it on the people that are not famous? The famous ones of our people. So most celebrities of our people are, they're gonna be snuffed out. They're not written in the book of life, right? They have missiles coming their way, the nuclear thermal missiles, which the Lord said that He's gonna destroy this world with, right? That's what's gonna happen. They have fire to purge them out, man. They're gonna be purged out. This wickedness has got to be purged out from our people, from amongst our people, and that's the only way it's going to be purged out is by fire, because it's a cleansing agent. Our people needs to be cleansed, and they're not going to be cleansed in the way that you think. You cannot wash this off with soap and water, man. Right? The first death was by the flood, and whoever wants to contend that's up to you, right? Every nation has a distorted account of the flood, but we have the right account of the flood, right? Every nation has a distorted account of the flood, but that means the flood did happen. Whether you want to assort different gods in your the way it happened, right? But we telling you how it happened, and scientists have proven it that a flood did happen, right? And that's how the Lord snuffed out wickedness back then. They got washed away. Right? Their sins got washed away, literally. Right? And this time, the second death, their sins are going to be cleansed. It's going to be burned away. Right? Because how do you try gold in the fire? How do you try gold? By putting fire to it and burning out all the impurities, man. Right? That's in the gold. So 2/3 are going to be burned so that, that they can be fine gold in the end. Right? And the rest of these nations. But wickedness is contagious and it will be snuffed out. Shalom.